David, how you
Hi.
doing? Good. It's been a long time. I mean, it's been 5 years since we last talked to each other. We did an interview 5 years ago, but we kept in touch via email and stuff like that.
Email. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, everything good in New York, Long Island?
All is good. Yeah. All is alive and well. Yeah.
It's nice seeing you, and it's nice talking about one of the greatest metal albums of all time, the Marriage album, the first
Hey,
part.
man. Thanks.
You know that. Before we go into the marriage saga, especially the first part, I want to start by the Life Among the Ruins album cycle. Many people don't give this album a chance, but I think I truly believe that it is a significant part in the whole shaping of the marriage album, part one and part two. Without Life Among the Ruins, and you had to get it out of your system, we wouldn't have marriage, right?
Yeah. I mean, we've gone back to that sort of bluesy style various moments in our career afterwards, but that was where we were at that moment. That's where the whole group was fused together on. And yeah, that was something we really, wanted to do. And we finally got it out of I wouldn't say got it out of our system because it's still in our system. We still love that, and I revisited some of that kind of gothic blues style on the Ghost Harvest stuff, Seven Devils Moonshine stuff. But yeah, after we did that record, we were like, all right. I was sitting in my Camaro with Edward, and we looked at each other and we were like, okay, we did that. Now I was going to, when we did that record, I was going to university. So I was studying classical music and all sorts of crazy things. I was studying all kinds of weird 12-tone rose stuff. And I looked at Edward and I said, I want to light out for the territories like Mark Twain. I want to go where no band has gone before. And he looked at me and said, let's go. Now he's my partner in crime. And we went, and that's the marriage. That's where it came. Yeah, I think we needed to do Life Among the Ruins because we just needed to do it. It was representative of who we were in that moment. Every record is like where Virgin Steele is at, personally, spiritually, philosophically, in any given moment. And that's where we were. And that was, okay, we did that. Let's do something else. So that's where the marriage came in. Yeah.
Okay, let's go straight to the marriage saga. Do you remember when you first started writing for the record? Was it right after the small tour that you did for the Life Among the Ruins? Or did you take a break and started writing right afterwards?
It's really difficult to say because I'm writing all the time, I sit there with my piano and I've got my cassette, mind you, cassette recorder with the built-in microphone, play and record, very simple. And I put that on top of the piano and I write and I record. So and I stock my pile of material that way. And I still work this way, even, in the age of complete digital, I still work like that. So it's difficult to say when I started writing. I think I started writing some of those marriage songs during the Life Among the Ruins, the ending of that, when we were like mixing and whatnot, like Blood and Gasoline, I started writing, and a few of the other tracks. It was kind of an outgrowth of I had this like mindset for Life Among the Ruins. I saw this like a desperado guy in complete leather, and like maybe a horse or a motorcycle, either way, depends on what century he was in. And that sort of spilled over into my writing with Marriage One, like songs like Blood and Gasoline, especially, and like Forever Will I Roam. So I think the idea was already born during that moment, but I was getting more and more creative and learning more and more about music, about writing, about, just the whole sphere of composition. And that was the outgrowth of it all. The Marriage One, it was like the Big Bang Theory. All of a sudden, like something exploded in my brain, and I have not stopped jonesing on that since then.
I'm
like I took a magic mushroom.
I'm partly asking because we have this excellent song on the first marriage record, Life Among the Ruins, which is the title track, you know, the title, the same title as the previous album. I mean, that's why I'm asking. Okay, all right. The idea to divide the marriage saga in two parts was entirely due to the fact that you had so many songs written during that period, or was it an idea that you had to divide the songs in two parts right from the beginning?
Well, whenever I'm in the studio and we're working, I never think about, can all this fit on a record? I just think, yeah, this is the record. Let's go, But we realized pretty quickly that all of that would not fit on one, album, CD, whatever. So somewhere along the way, we stopped production on the rest of it and said, okay, we're going to focus on this because it's not going to fit. But I was writing a lot of the songs for the second record when I'd written the first record, and we were recording all of that at the same time. So songs that were on Marriage 2, like Devil Angel, what the hell was on? Jesus Christ, I can't, because they're all together. Symphony of Steel. I started writing Symphony of Steel at the same time. I pretty much wrote and by myself, and the songs that I wrote with Edward together when we were doing Marriage 1. The only things that I still had to finish and start or sort of semi from scratch were like Emulath, Crown of Glory, and Prometheus the Fallen One. Those were written later, specifically for the second record. But everything else was written for the first record. And even some of the stuff that ended up on the original reissue of Noble Savage, like Spirit of Steel, was written when I wrote the songs for Marriage 1.
All right. Let's talk about the concept of the album, David. Of course, the album title brings in mind instantly William Blake and its book from the late 18th century. Was it something that you had in your mind right from the beginning, or was it something that it occurred to you during the recording process?
I knew right away that what I was writing and exploring and what Edward and I were doing together was trying to fuse opposites. It was all about putting together things that were not supposed to be together. Opposites attract, though, So I was like, what can I do that's the most complete opposite that people will get, that these are opposite things that are coming together? And I thought, okay, heaven, hell, you can't get any more opposite than that. And let's marry them. So I came up with that idea, and that's where the album was, the genesis of where it began, lyrically, and of course then musically it followed through.
Yeah, and it's not only heaven and hell. Now that you're talking about opposites, it's not only the battle of good or evil. I mean,
no,
you have some other things like life, death, love, loss, all these concepts that you further expanded on in the years to come with the rest of the Virgin Steele albums. I mean, this is the genesis of those concepts. I mean, from the recording of a Virgin Steele album, you know what I mean? The Virgin Steele style, lyrical style.
Yeah, it was basically, it was growing that way. And then after that record, it just kind of like blossomed further. And yeah, I'm always been interested in opposites. I think it's probably like a factor in my life, where no, you can't do this, and you tell me I can't do this. Why can't I do that? I'm going to do that. And then joining together these things, you can't go out with that girl. I'm going to go out with that girl. She likes me. I don't care what her father says. That kind of thing. All these kinds of very passionate, dramatic things. Yeah, people think sometimes that I'm giving a history lesson with the records. Yeah, is a small part of that, yes, but it's really about the passion of life and my life in particular, since I'm writing the lyrics, So yeah, it's an outgrowth of all of that.
Okay. This is the last album, although Joey Avesian, I mean, he's credited in the second part also. But this is the last record that Joey is featured on a Virgin Steele record after all these years. Was it something that you saw it coming, or was it a surprise to you?
No, we saw it coming. I love Joey. He's a great drummer. He's a lovely guy. He was not necessarily so excited about the direction the group was in. He was into different things. He really liked bands like, I guess back then, like Motley Crue, Bon Jovi, and whatnot. And I don't know if he really understand or got interested in where we were going. You know, he wanted things to be more like some of the songs from perhaps Age of Consent, like tracks like On the Wings of the Night or whatever, and you know, that sort of thing, straight ahead sort of rock. So yeah, so we knew he was eventually gonna, you know, bow out, and we allowed him to do whatever he wanted to do. It wasn't like we fought with him, and he's still a friend of ours, and he did a great job on all those tracks, masterful job, and it ended at that moment, and then you know, we have to move on and finish the record with somebody else. And that was the next guy who came in, Frank. So it was very natural. Everything in Virgin Steele has been pretty natural evolution. Yeah, and if I saw Joey tonight, we'd have a drink and all would be very nice.
Have you kept in touch with him?
I am in touch with him sometimes through other people. The old bass player, Rob DiMartino, sometimes does gigs with Joey. And I've been meaning to get together at one of their gigs and see them both. But it hasn't really happened. But I plan on doing that before 2022 is over. Yeah, because I'd like to see Joey and like to, you know, get together. We had a beautiful time with him. And I love Joey. He's a great drummer. And he's always been a great friend. And I wish him all the best. I think he's playing actually with a cover band that we used to see back in the day called Equinox. Great singer, great band. I think he's the drummer of this band right now. I don't know what they're doing, if they're doing anything like in terms of like making a record or the original music, but I know they're out doing gigs. So I wish him well. And he's still playing with Rob now and again, Rob DiMartino, who Rob I see more because Rob actually lives like, you know, just minutes from me. So I'll run into Rob, like I'll be at a stop sign in my car and there he is, you know, that kind of thing.
Okay. Edward has really come forward on this record. I mean, he's the driving force on, he co-wrote with you, if I'm not mistaken, 5-6 songs on Marriage, on the Marriage album, or the first Marriage record. Describe to us a typical day during the recording of the Marriage first part. Did you sit down with him and come up jam, or did you present the idea to him? And
well, for that record, we worked like we always work. We sit together at my acoustic piano with the cassette player on top of it, you know, and he's got his little amp. He's plugged in. I'm not plugged in vocally. I'm just singing in the air like that. And that's how we jam and write like that. Sometimes I'll say, I've got this bit, and we'll jam together. And sometimes he comes in and says, I've got this bit. And then we work on that. And it becomes, you know, a full track. Like some of the songs that we wrote together for the first record were like Weeping of the Spirits, I Wake Up Screaming. Those started from riffs that he had, and then I developed with him as we were going along. And then he, you know, I really could not find a more amicable, the best person for me, because I write so much. And Edward is like, he's not worried about, oh, I didn't write on this song. He just wants to interpret the songs that I've written. So when I showed him, like, I Will Come For You, he was just jazzed up about, wow, that's a really strange riff. I have to like adapt to the guitar. So he's into that. It wasn't like I got to add my bit because I already wrote the song. It's done, you know? So he's a very good, he's almost like a speaker, an amplifier, you know, for what I'm doing, because I say, look, I've written this thing, and he's a champion of what I do. And he champions it and goes forth and like that. So all those songs that I wrote myself, like Symphony of Steel for the second one, Life Among the Ruins, The Marriage of Heaven and Hell, both of those big things, and The Marriage of Hell Revisited, whatever, Transfiguration, Self-Crucifixion. He just wanted to play them, so I showed him what I was doing, said, okay, let's adapt that for the guitar. Because when you write on the piano, which I mainly do, translating that to guitar can be quite daunting, but he has that classical background, and he's got the technique to understand where I'm coming from and how to approach it. And together, we craft it to the guitar, Especially things like Emulate. Emulate was a real bitch for him, but because it's like 9 minutes long, it's got all these changes, and but he did it. I remember when we were recording that one, I had all these notes I pasted on the studio wall. Okay, so all these things going on for myself as well, and we were like, no, we're in this section now. We're over here, and I was like conducting, and he learned it all, and he did it all. Yeah, he's a masterful musician. He's a very talented guy.
Speaking of Emulate, now that you mentioned Emulate, although it is the second part of the Marriage Saga, you always stated, to me at least, that this is Emulate. This is the most representative track of the entire Virgin Steele catalog. Do you still share this opinion?
Yeah, it is. It still holds together like that. It's massively bombastic. It's heavy. It's romantic. It's barbaric. It's got all those ingredients. And the new album that we're finishing up right now has all those ingredients as well. So yeah, it's a monumental track in our canon catalog. I remember writing the first section, the semi-quiet section, and then I was like, shit, where do I go from here? I was like very puzzled for a while, and like over the span of about like a week, I was dwelling on it, and I was like, now I know where it goes. And I went to the piano and I sorted out the rest of it, and what you hear is that the result of that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When people ask me, David, which is my favorite Virgin Steele record, I always say the Marriage Saga, first part and second part. I love almost all your records. I'm a big fan, you know that. But this is the saga that I absolutely love. And when they ask me why is that, I tell them because it combines so many elements. We have the barbaric romantic style of Virgin Steele. We have the epic side. We have the blues-based chord songs. We have classical things. We even have a well-hidden Gothic atmosphere.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think that this is mainly the reason why the Marriage albums are still considered fresh, modern, and of course timeless?
I think so, because yeah, it does combine all those elements, and they were recorded really, really quickly, which also I think lends itself to that immediacy that the listener gets. We didn't have the luxury, the money, to sit there in the studio for years on end making, one record. We were making 2 records at the same time for the budget of one, kind of a thing. And yeah, I think all of those ingredients kind of add up to what the listener experiences. It was very emotional time for us, very passionate, just dramatic. There was so much going on, and we were on a mission to tell the world this is what Virgin Steele is. So that's kind of where those 2 records were at. And you really can't talk about the first record without talking about the second record, because I was writing the songs all at the same time, and it was just stopped because we ran out of money to do the other one, so we had to wait. And I remember going on the road And we were in the studio, we would getting Emily up and Crown of Glory and all those songs, but they weren't finished, they weren't out yet. And I was like, shit, I hope I don't fucking die in a plane crash before I can get back to finish those records. We were flying over. It was really on my mind, you know, because I just wanted that stuff to, you know, come out into the world. Yeah, especially those last three, Emily, Prometheus, and Crown of Glory. Yeah.
I won't go into a track-by-track analysis, or I won't ask you to go through all the songs, but I want to take you back. I want you to take us back to two specific songs. The first one is "Forever Will I Roam," which is actually the romantic style of Virgin Steele, but I think it captures perfectly what you had in mind back then for Virgin Steele. What did you say?
Yeah, that one I think was, I started writing during the Life Among the Ruins end of that phase, and that was the idea in my mind of this leather-clad guy, which, you know, I was that guy. I was leather and, you know, racing my car and smashing into things and all kinds of insanity of my life. And when I sat down at the piano and I said, I want to try to crystallize the essence of who I am in this moment. And that was the result. That one and House of Dust, I think I kind of wrote them almost simultaneously, those two. Yeah. So it was that was definitely the more romantic side of my nature, but with that spike in it, that little bit of brutality as well, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, because that's been the core of my existence, and that's been you know, how the band has operated. It's never been that nice and sweet. There's always been this other undercurrent in all of our lives, you know.
Right. And the second one, I won't even mention the title, but even just hearing these words, from 7 points of darkness, beyond the mountains and the ruins, I will come for you. Man, without hearing the song, you instantly feel this epic, barbaric side, you know, of Virgin Steele. Take us back to I Will Come For You.
Yeah, I had the original riff, little on the piano, and I had this musical idea I was messing around with. And I walked into another room, and I sat down, and all of those lyrics just came out. I had my notebook, and it just came out in kind of in one go. I was thinking about, you know, my, I guess, defiance, which is the trilogy of the Marriage Unpicked, my defiance of all things that I don't want in the world. I was thinking about religion. I was thinking about the aspects of religion that I don't like. I was thinking about a relationship. I was thinking about a love that died that shouldn't die. I was thinking about a love that never dies. And I infused all that with, it started with I Will Come For You, and it ended with Emily, kind of a thing. Well, it didn't end with Emily because it carried on to the Invictus record as well. But that sort of ideology infused, if you will, the whole record. And all three records, that idea of like, I am not going to take your shit. I'm not going to stand there and be a whipping boy for you. I'm going to fight back, but I will do it with beauty and a sense of romanticism, a sense of beauty, not the ugly. I mean, violence, of course, can be an ugly thing, but we were always brutally beautiful, I think, or beautifully brutal, if you will. That was kind of our marriage of these supposed dichotomies, you know. I don't do well with dichotomies. You tell me I can't do something, I'm going to do it. You tell me that these things can't be joined, I'm going to join them. That's what I do. That's how I've always lived my life. Yeah. I'm not sure where that comes from, but it's there.
I don't think I have ever asked you through all these years, but about the album cover sleeve by Eric Philippe. Was it your idea or was it Eric's idea?
Oh, which one?
The album cover sleeve, the album artwork. Was it your idea or was it Eric's idea, Eric Philippe's idea?
Well, it was my idea to get a cover because we needed a cover because the record had to come out. So yeah. I discovered this artist called Darren the Demon Hell. He does all this like kind of like huge like canvases with spray stuff and regular painting and whatnot. And I went to his studio and I said, look, I got this album. It's called The Marriage of Heaven and Hell, Part 1. And can you do something? Because I saw he does all this stuff with like all that stuff that's like all the cable stuff, like on the second one. Yeah. He does all this stuff with that kind of idea. And he devised that idea. I guess what originally came to his mind was man, woman, angel, devil, whatever. So that's the first album, Marriage One cover. I wasn't necessarily in love with either one, but I've grown to like them and understand how they relate to the music. Because once you hear the music, and if you like the music, then it's kind of reflects on the cover rather than the other way around. You know, if I was going to make the record now, I might choose a different artist and a different cover and all that, but it is what it is. And it became what it became. A lot of people gave us flack about the covers back then. Like, you know, hey, just listen to the records. The records are great. Never mind the cover, you know. It's like a book, you know. Okay, you can have many covers, many covers for the same book.
David, you did a tour for the promotion of the Marriage Part 1 and Part 2. And this was actually the first time that I saw Virgin Steele live on stage at the Rodon Club. You recently did a video for your first visit in Greece. This adventure style, you know, with all that happened before you visit Greece. Any special memories, not only from the Greek shows, but from the tour in general? Was it a happy time for Virgin Steele? Was it a good tour for you?
It was a great tour for us. Yeah, it was really magical. We got to like 7 different European countries during that run. And it was just, as a group, we were all getting along quite well, learning more and more about each other and how to emote on stage with each other and give each other space. And the chemistry was really high during that run. So yeah, it was a very, very good experience. I don't think there was no negative aspects. Even blowing out a clutch, getting to Thessaloniki, you know, it was all positive. It was all good. Nothing was bad about that run. And arriving finally at the Rodon Club, that was incredible magic. Yeah. That whole experience, I marked down as a real high point in our career. Yeah.
It is a real high point for all the Greek metal fans and all your fans in Greece. Let me tell you that. All right. David, last but certainly not least, many people consider the Marriage albums, first and second part, that those albums signal the return, the true comeback of Virgin Steele into the metal world. Is it something that you agree with this opinion?
Can you run that by me again?
Yeah. Do you think that the Marriage of Heaven and Hell, Part 1 and Part 2, signal the return of Virgin Steele into the metal world, into the metal recording?
Okay. I don't think we ever left it. I mean, if you listen to, you know, I Dress in Black, I mean, it's bluesy, but it's still fucking heavy, you know, and a crown of thorns on that record and Jet Black. We never left metal. We just, we got more into the, I guess, epic side of it, you know. I don't think Virgin Steele has ever left the metal. Even our acoustic moments are still fucking over the top in metal, you know. It's in our blood, it's in our veins. It's like, you know, being like, can you say like, is B.B. King more blues on this record than he is on the other record? You know, I don't know. You know, he's a blues guy. You know, we're metal people. You know, but metal to us and to me especially means more than one thing. We don't have a one-dimensional view of what metal is. Metal is a larger ship, a larger dwelling than what some people might think what it is. So yeah, my definition of metal is, and I think Edward agrees with me as well, it's very different than some other people think. It's more about what is the harmonic vocabulary, what is the intent, what is the thrust behind the whole thing. You can do something very gentle, which is still very fucking metal, and you can do something very heavy, which is not metal at all. You know,
I know what you mean.
You know, very loud and obnoxious, but it's not metal. Sorry, you know. We are doing a new record. It's basically done. It's about 99.9% done. Just wrapping it up now, and it's very barbaric, very romantic, very heavy record. Yeah.
Give us a song title from that record, just for the news. Something.
I will give you one title. Okay.
Yes.
I will give you this title. To bind and kill a god.
Okay.
That's one of the songs on the record.
All right, David. Thank you very much again, and see you soon.
Thank you. Cheers.
Again.